I'd like to welcome to the stage Mauricio Consulo. He leads architecture for AWS worldwide public sector, and we're happy to have him here because we're happy to be partners with AWS. We're happy to be partners with their Zero Trust ZTag initiative. So I'd like to turn it over to him for a great talk on security.
Good afternoon, everyone. I said, my name is Mauricio Consulo, and I run all the ISVs globally for public sector, based in New York City. You can tell by my accent, I'm New Yorker, right? So, all good. I want to start by saying thank you to Datadog to have us here today. Really appreciate the opportunity to address all of you. Thank you all. So, the first thing that I want to mention is AI is having a huge impact on cybersecurity. AI is having a huge impact on our lives in general. And I just want to mention here how, oops, I'm having trouble with the clicker, my apologies. Here we go. Okay, so as I was mentioning, we are having a lot of different interactions about AI and how this is really affecting what we do in cybersecurity. We are seeing, for example, there are some labs, the AI lab that's telling that about 80% more Gen AI is being used for attacks. Right now, the e-crime, the record that we have is about 20 seconds to kind of really bypass all the security systems. It's unthinkable a few years ago, 27 seconds, okay? We know that about 89% of the known entities that are attacking agencies, about 89% more efficient or more attacks just because of Gen AI is happening right there. And they're using, the techniques are not different. They're just being more efficient. The trend is going up. The level of attacks going up over and over. And this is something that we have to pay attention over and over. And they're using something like the land of the land, things that we have already there. They're not trying to install anything. They're trying to be stealth. And there's some techniques that we are using, or they are using, the hackers in general, to have stealth data exfiltration. They cannot be detected. So they can really move the data out in a way that looks like encrypted, looks like genuine access, and these are just happening and you don't see, right? So this is one of the issues that we have here. And how can we guarantee that our workloads are secure? How we can guarantee that, we're doing the right things? And there's zero trust. There's the value that we have here. It holds promise, right? But it can be challenged to implement. It can be something that takes time to be implemented. The point that I want to make here, that even in medieval times, we knew that to protect a castle, the outwalls were not enough. We cannot think that the extended network that we have, it's enough for that. Our architecture needs to be designed to really address the current and modern needs of security or cybersecurity. Zero trust is more than a strategy. It's more than architecture. It's a mental model that we all need to have in order to be properly implemented. And we need to use some techniques here. When we think about attack the surface, how do I really work towards what I'm doing here? And what we do in order to address this architecture is never trust, always verify. It's important that you verify every single access, the hardware, everything that's encapsulated with that process. The idea is also to reduce the blast radius, stop from lateral movements that we have here. The time to detect, as I mentioned, the attacks are being over and over, faster and faster. How can you detect it faster, or at least at the same speed as it's being attacked? And another one, I don't know your companies. Our company, we're always stretched so thin in terms of resources. People are one of the greatest assets that we have. So we don't have the time. And so the more automation you have in order to detect and guarantee that you're not working on false positives, the best you can use your time and your people's time to really focus on the true cyber crimes that are happening, and also innovation, in ways that you're doing things differently. As I told, zero trust, it holds promise, but it's not easy to implement. When you think about this, we have 7 pillars that were decided by the Department of War and CISA. They use actually CISA as 5 pillars. And they are user, device, network environment, application workload data, visibility and analysis, automation orchestration. With the partnership with Datadog, you're working more in visibility and analysis. That's the pillar that you're working the most. I do show here two capabilities more on the blue side, but we have around, when you look at this one here, the white ones, there are about 152 of those little things that we need to do. As I said, it holds promise, but can be challenging to be implemented, it should be deployed. And when we think about the frameworks that we're using, our approach, the AWS approach, how do we take this over? The adoption is a large secured modernization. We need to think about this the same way we look at digital transformation, it is secured modernization. That's how we are approaching the zero trust. And the idea here, it's not simple, but it's to reduce complexity. How do you bring something that from the scalability perspective, from the right moment that you decide that you will do it, you build all the capabilities, all the frameworks, everything that's needed with you. You need to scale quickly, right? We are all running after projects, running after time, and getting this done. And the compliance that is necessary. So this is the key message on how we do approach the zero trust from the AWS perspective. We are bringing to you all those frameworks. We accelerate the use of ZTAG. And when we think about Datadog and the importance of the partnership that we have with them, they have been previously validated for 11 AWS competencies. And we are so pleased that they are now part of the ZTAG program that we have, and we're working together. So with the Datadog, we do have the SIEM and the pillars that we mentioned about. And Datadog ingests and correlates all the logs, all the secured events, and all the trails across federal environment. And this is how we work on this framework with Datadog. I mentioned to you before, it's more than just architecture. It's more than just technology. It's a mental model that we have, and we combine the reference architecture that we have at AWS with managed services and partners here, and you will see Datadog being part of this new architecture. The idea when we use this is to reduce attack surface, the blast radius, and speeding up the detection and response time that we have. This is what this architecture brings, right? I don't want to dive super deep here, but the idea is really to reduce the time that you need to really think about how do I address that. Over lunch, I was talking to a person that is also here today. He said, I'm struggling with zero trust implementation. I said, yep, it's not easy. And if you try to do that on-prem, you might need another close to 40 vendors to really, or 40 companies to really address that. In the cloud with this architecture, with parts like Datadog, you speed up that process. And I think that's important to us. If you look here about automation, that's one of the key words that we have right now. It's speed, automation, innovation, right? When you think about how do we partner with Datadog, we do have the Kiro Powers, and this is more on the left side here when we talk about code. It's how do you interact fast enough with code, and you detect on the early stages that you have a problem. You have a cybersecurity problem. And then you can really, at the early stage of your development cycle, identify issues and work on those. Just in the month of April now, Anthropic released it, not publicly, but we talk about Mythos. It's super important, and it was not public release because it was key in order to detect cyber threats. And when we think about Kiro Powers plus Datadog plus that kind of technology involved here, we bring this on the early stage to avoid any issues. With the DevOps agent on the other side here, we are trying to reduce the time to response. When you detect something, how can you really minimize the impact that you have over there and optimize the way you're working and delivering services? I've been talking about Datadog. They have been a partner of AWS for a long time, right? It's not new. It was so nice during the reInvented 2025, there was a commitment to work on a strategic collaboration with AWS to deliver AI-powered observability and security at scale. And with that, to really reinforce the partnership that we have here, I would like to invite my colleague Dave to come on stage to have a quick chat about the partnership that we have. Welcome, Dave.
Awesome. Thank you, Mauricio.
Thank you.
Which was good. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right, how you doing, folks? So within AWS and Datadog, how we have this partnership working together for Zero Trust, I feel very fortunate that I direct a team of our solution engineers that really have this backing from a holistic point of view, right? The platform is built on Zero Trust, and we leverage that through our partnership with AWS, as well as our native practices and principles, right? So joint innovation, being built on AWS, the whole purpose of ZTA is it's a mindset. It's not an individual product that you can deploy. You have to have that embedded in your product, in your company culture, and start it from shift left all the way throughout. So Datadog helps with a continuous monitoring strategy of the full stack, because there you can assume breaches will happen, because they will. Right? But now how do I determine that blast radius? How do I know what's affected? How do I know what to turn on and off? That is something that Datadog helps you bring in that visibility, right? Or that flashlight in the cave to help show you exactly how this is going to affect your network, who is involved in that breach, and then possibly with the remediation of. So that way these type of things do not happen again, right? So with that, I mean, something that I think we have in general, right, is our compliance posture. We build this and mold this into individual capabilities of our product set, whether we're looking at logs for Cloud SIEM, whether we're looking at CSM and giving you the latest and greatest from our security posture management, being able to embed that into not just boring performance data, but showing you why it matters, right? What's actually going to occur when we do this type of better together story within AWS. So being able to monitor both your on-premise environments, your hybrid environments, your cloud environments, and have that talking end to end, back end to front end, is something that's going to be very important, right? Especially as we're talking about zero trust. You got to assume these breaches will happen, because they will, but you're going to need to know when it happens, who's involved, how do I remediate, and being able to have that agility at your fingertips is something that we've built into the UI to make it an easy and seamless user experience for everyone involved.
And Dave, I think it's important to mention that this is a shared responsibility model that we have with AWS and Datadog, where we are responsible for the security of the cloud. All the infrastructure, everything about the cloud is our responsibility. When it comes to Datadog, is the security in the cloud, in the environment that they have. So it's a great partnership where, as I said, we have a shared responsibility model where we're both owners of that process. But it's how we work together, how we leverage each other's strengths in order to deliver value to the customer.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't speak more to this slide, right? Joint innovation, enhanced visibility, something that's built on AWS. We're a very proud partner of AWS. Out of the box, we have over 100 dedicated integrations directly to AWS out of our 1,000. So Datadog continues to innovate with the market-leading innovators, right? That's how we like to go to market, and that's how we work better together, right? To improve that compliance posture across not only our federal agencies, but also our commercial ones as well.
Absolutely. And, you know, it doesn't stop here. Every day we're innovating. When you look at my previous slides, we're just talking about how Gen AI can really automate process, how can help us to have more, not free time, I don't want to use that word, but have the time to focus on what matters. And this is what we are building together. When we bring Datadog plus AWS, that's exactly what we want to offer to you, is that speed, innovation, and the ownership that matters. Dave, anything that you can say or you can talk about the future, the direction that we are taking with the partnership in terms of the services that we're providing, the products?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I think that we do our best to kind of keep up with AWS's innovation, and in some ways, I'm be biased, we kind of outpace a little bit, but it's a great partnership that we're both able to iterate so fast and deliver to our customers. In this new age, when everything is AI-driven, everything is community-based, we have to rely on both innovations that we're seeing in the industry and then be able to meet that as a vendor. And these type of partnerships is what we have to lean on to get those deeper insights, so that way we can evolve and adapt as the world adapts around us.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for the opportunity once more.